Um, Good evening all. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I said good evening. We're not there yet, are we? Good afternoon. You're going to have to bear with me. I've been working at home all day, and I've made a 5-minute transition into this. So, yeah, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah, there we are. So, unfortunate. But, yeah. Oh, wait, no, it was me. Yeah, thanks, John. Cheers. No, I could see my levels are good, so I think I should be coming across okay. So, yeah, so I've literally gone from all the work stuff into Alien Week and the new Prowler and all the good stuff. I guess we'll find out, right? Interesting conversation on the Discord this morning. Got a little bit shouty, but there we go. Um, yeah, some stuff to talk to. So, good afternoon to John Chavez, to Rush Mordor, Del Kenobi Tech, and anyone else that's lurking. Yeah, we'll see how this is all going to play out. A bit of an interesting one. I am wondering whether or not there is also going to be some sort of concept, because we didn't get one at ILW. So it very much seems, from everything that they've said, the patch report last week and that sort of stuff, or the progress report, that what we're getting in terms of the Prowler is straight to flyable, and depending on its gameplay loop, that makes sense. There are videos floating around. We do think we know what it is, but you know what I'm like. With the exception of that one Perseus leak, which I think is going to come back to bite me in the backside, I don't generally like to get into the specifics around leaks and stuff, because until it comes out of CIG's mouth, I just don't. I don't think it's worth building up on. You know, people set their expectations too high or differently to what we're going to get based on nothing but leaks and rumors and conjecture and all that sort of stuff. So we shall have a look then at what comes out. There's nothing at the moment. If you guys don't mind, if you are kind of keeping an eye on the channel and stuff, I'm going to be sat here hitting refresh throughout the course of the video or the stream. If you see something pop up on YouTube, or if you see something, you know, like their page refreshes and it's a couple minutes early, I will sit here spamming F5, as is my want. But hopefully, you know, we'll see. Now, the weather today hasn't decided what it wants to do. It's hammered all down this morning, and now the sun came out, so I closed all the windows, kept working, and then went, oh, it's sunny. So it's actually quite warm in here. So I'm going to bang the fan on. My only fan, and hopefully, I'm just watching the levels. It is, you can kind of hear it a bit, right? It's fine. It's fine. I could do with sweating off some stuff. Anyway, fine. Whatever. If I start dripping with perspiration, you know that's what's happened. Hey, Stunner. It was great grabbing my coffee. If you just repeat everything you just got done saying, that would be great. Rude. Yeah, exactly that. Unwatchable. Yeah, I know it's only a little bit, but like I don't like to inflict stuff on people that I wouldn't want inflicted on myself, right? So things like chewing and mouth sounds and you know, that low level hum, I tend not to, you know, and all that sort of no, hate it with a passion. But yeah, we'll see what comes of Alien Week. You know, maybe, like I say, maybe there's a concept. We've had absolutely no rumblings. The only thing that I've got that's suggesting that I say that is the whole ILW not getting one. So maybe. But we'll see. And yeah, the Prowler variant, for those that haven't seen, I'm not going to go pull up all the spoiler stuff, because the problem is it lacks context and it lacks any of that sort of information. I think, you know, we'll wait to see. There is a behind the ships that's supposed to be coming out today. I think they've been doing, if I'm not wrong, someone check my math on this, they have been doing a Star Citizen live as well. I'm just kind of loading up. Yeah, so it's going on at the minute. Vehicle flight and balance, that's been going on. It's been going on for a whole... There you go, you can hear it now. The ads anyway. Yeah, so that's been going on for an hour. So we won't tune in, because if it's not finished, it's about to be. And because I've been working, I've not been watching it. I'll catch up with it later. If anyone's been watching, though, and they've dropped any really interesting nuggets of information, feel free to stick it in the chat, and we'll talk about it. I'm just reading at the moment There's and Alien Week ? Yeah. So it looks like they haven't given away too much at this point in time. So we'll just keep watching. I'll keep watching. I'll keep checking. I'm on the Star Citizen YouTube channel. The last video is the Into the Storm one that we saw, exploration gameplay. Remember that. Clicking around on the website, and it's still the Anvil Asgard and the Guardian and Attack and the Grey Cat and all that sort of, yay, all the stuff. Live's got about 10 minutes left. Yeah, absolutely. Star Citizen streamer that don't own fans. Damn, trapped to the tech. You wound me, sir. You wound me. Most use the cone of silence to keep secrets. Badgers uses it when eating with others to not hear chewing. Yeah, that. Exactly that. Hey, PQ, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, so, it's busy again at work, and this is just going to be the running theme until at least October, unfortunately. But there are now 2 videos in the works. I spoke to you on Sunday about some of the stuff and that have been talked about with Stormbreaker. The more I put that video together, the more it felt like it was 2 videos kind of mashed into one. So I'm hoping to get one out tomorrow, and then, unfortunately, I will not be around. Why? I say unfortunately for you guys. Fortunately for myself, I won't be around on Sunday. I'm going to Cardiff with my dad. Me and my dad love going drinking together. Very lucky to have a very good relationship, and it was my dad's birthday back in April, and I managed to get him tickets to see Jordan Peterson's UK tour in Cardiff. And I know I've kind of just doxed myself by letting everyone know where I'm going to be on Monday night. We're staying up Sunday because it's Father's Day and we're going to have some drinks and all that sort of stuff. But I really don't think anyone cares where I'm going to be on Monday. So I'm going to be in Cardiff on Monday, and we're going to go watch Jordan Peterson, which I am really excited about. Really like that guy. It's a shame that people keep intending to misinterpret what he's saying, but, you know, looking forward to it. It'll be good. So, unfortunately, no stream, so maybe the second video will come out a little bit earlier on in the evening, because it's better for the YouTube's metrics and the algorithm and all that sort of good stuff, but it'll come out slightly earlier, so a double whammy this week, I am hoping, if I get the time to put it all together. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going and drinking some beer in our favourite watering hole with my dad, and because my dad's going to be there, I'm not giving that location away. Yeah, it's quite good fun. My full gamer tag is Badgers Nadgers, so I've got some interesting ideas what to do with my dad. I do want to, when the game comes out, or when it gets a lot closer to release and it's a lot more stable and a lot more reliable, I do want to try and put my dad on stream and get him to play it with us, because I think he'd absolutely hate it and there would be nothing funnier to watch. So yeah, he would detest that experience massively, and you know, I'm nothing if I'm not mean to him. Mark, excellent. Hello, good to see you. Mackie Moose, good to see you, my friend. Managed to catch you live. Yeah, woohoo! Huzzah for them doing stuff in the week. I started work a little bit early this morning so I could sign off a little bit early. So if I'm all over the place, this is why. My brain is on work stuff still, and I'm frantically trying to bring it back to Star Citizen and everything else. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll get there. Yeah. So I'm just watching some of the questions in the Star Citizen live chat, and I'm reminding myself quite severely as to why I do not watch the live streams, because the questions hurt my stomach. But yeah, we'll watch the behind the ship stuff. We'll have a very quick look at the page when it goes live, because I think they've set them to go off at about the same time. We'll have a look at this new Prowler. What we are hoping, I think, universally, is whatever the variant is, because it doesn't seem to be combat-oriented, it will be cheaper. And a much cheaper Prowler is nothing but a good thing, because the current one, I don't think I'm surprising anyone, and it's certainly not an original thought. It's very expensive for what it is. Considering you can get reclaimers and the functionality of like a C2 for less, it's just too expensive. Classic Big Bully Badges. Hello, Napo, good to see you. Welcome in, my friend. On my way to Cardiff, says Rash. I mean, you can come along if you like. The live is worth a watch. Yogi does a semi-long form reply about the long-term plans for the flight model. No revelations. That's a shame. C McD, you've probably told me how to pronounce that before, but that's what I'm going to go with for the moment until you correct me, sir, or madam. Yeah, CMcD, welcome in. Good to see you for the stream. Yeah, I'm just kind of frantically. I know we're about 4 minutes beforehand, but I am just spamming F5 or slapping F5 every so often because it deserves it. It needs to be kept in line, just to see what's coming out from CIG. But nothing as yet. Like I said, we'll have a look at what the page says. We'll have a look at. We'll go into the behind the ship thing, which I'd imagine will come out at exactly the same time, and yeah, we'll see. The Prowler tickler for giving the caterpillar belly scratches, at least according to the leak system. Sebastian, good evening. Hello. Welcome in. Yeah, like I said, Prowler variant, if it's cheaper, great. Even if it's not primarily a combat version. There are a lot of things that I think a Prowler variant could do, but none of them make sense to release right now because there is no, what's the words I'm looking for? There's no gameplay for them yet. So a Prowler E-Warfare ship, which goes more in for the electronic warfare than the actual kinetic action, that makes sense to me a lot, right? But of course there is no E-Warfare gameplay at the minute, and they've said multiple times they don't want to release the ships unless the gameplay's there to go along with them. So, I mean, still possible, right? We still might get something like that in future, but we'll see. Hacking maybe, could be. Good afternoon, Stimpack. We'll see. I'm hoping we get a Prowler variant and we get a concept. That's what I'm hoping for this time round. I tell you what I will have a look at, which might be quite good fun, is just where we are in terms of the funding dashboard, because it's been a while since we've had a look, but I do think they are quite some way on with their funding. We are significantly oh crikey, yeah. So I'm gonna jump across. Let's have a look at this very quickly. Pro streamer, right? Hey Stack, good to see you, my friend. This is what we wanted. So this is really interesting. We are miles ahead now. You know, on the best month we are at towards the end of July 2022. So we are miles ahead in funding again. A solid performing January, a solid performing February, March doing well. In fact, there isn't a month that every month has been close to, if not just over, the best month previously of any year. So they're doing pretty well. I might be slightly lower, Luke, although hopefully that's your end. It is showing me almost peaking this end, so I'm trying to not get any further than that. However, it is slightly offset because I look into the corner. My desk is in the corner of the room, which I'm going to change when I change everything around. If I put it right in front of me, you get echo, and it sounds like my mobile's on public toilet setting. So hopefully that's all right. That's why I'm kind of looking this way, because the microphone's down here. So yeah, hopefully it's all right. Well, yes, quite. Yeah. 1 month, 29 million. Yeah, if you look at 2013, 28. It's kind of crazy, right? Good. Volume's fine. Good. That's what we like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump across to start spamming this. If anyone else sees it change over, let me know. I'll just come back to the main doodah screen first. This one. It's not called a doodah screen. I haven't saved it. I've just called it full face chat, right? But I'll keep spamming it. I'll keep jumping between the screens and spamming, and we'll see what we can get. Yeah, if anyone sees it change, great, let us know. So yeah, that's huge. Exactly that. So what I was trying to get at with that, where I was going with that, is they don't necessarily need to do a concept and a live release, but of course they may well have planned it, and at the time they would have sorted out what ships were ready to go for here, flyable and concept, would have been some time ago. So they wouldn't necessarily have known they were going to have the strong month that they have. And of course, the ICTY, the combat mech that we've seen in some of the videos, that the Wicklow version appears to be earning game. Apparently, although I've not seen it, it's been said in someone else's chat, I think sorry, Mike's, that there will be a version that is available for purchase, although I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just been a really strong start. I think everything from the Asgard certainly played a part. Obviously, the Idris has played a part as well. I think they've just had a really good... And I think the push towards stability has probably helped drive that as well. You know, we've gone from Pyro into everything else. That was always going to draw more people in as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Hey Timble, hey Ninja. It's been updated, is it? Fantastic. Thank you very much. Oh, it's not on my page. It's not on my page. Here we go. Okay, so Behind the Ships is out. We're going to watch this before we go back to the main page. Let's take a look and let's see what it says. I'm just going to jump you across in a moment.
The Prowler utility is a brand new dedicated cargo ship with enhanced stealth abilities.
It trades some of its combat capabilities for more industrial uses.
If you don't want to get detected doing your cargo runs, this is the perfect ship.
This ship is for someone who wants to do cargo, who wants to remain stealthy, and who wants to look sick doing it.
The Prowler utility is different from the baseline Prowler.
Because we had to carve out extra space for the new cargo, that meant that the belly section of the ship had to increase in size just a tiny bit.
It also has a ventral size 2 remote tractor beam, which can be accessed from the pilot or co-pilot seat.
And that'll allow you to move cargo freely in and out of the ship. The base version of the ship has these feathers on the wings, which get deployed down when you land, but those are no longer really needed since the functionality is slightly different. And so what we've done now is when you land with this ship, those feathers get tucked up.
That's pretty cool.
Giving you more space to actually move cargo around the ship freely.
It features 2 size 4 guns under the wings instead of the original 2 size 5 guns, while retaining the remote turret on top with the 2 size 3 weapons.
As the Prowler utility is a variant of the Prowler, rather than a standalone chassis, it gets to share all the cool paints between both versions. And existing Prowler owners, of course, get to benefit from all the new paints that come with the launch of this vehicle.
We've updated the lighting quite a bit in order to sort of just give a little bit more feedback to the player.
I'm grinning like an idiot.
Chosen to really lean into sort of the red lighting that we've been doing on the interior of the Prowler in general, and push that to the exterior. And so if you're coming down above someone, you just look like this incredibly aggressive silhouette with red lights flashing everywhere. I think it looks awesome.
That's very cool.
Compared to the base Prowler, we have stripped out the lower interior
by removing the main section of drop seats and replacing that with a 32 SCU cargo hold.
And added a sort of clamshell door opening on the undersides to allow easy access to the cargo bay.
Nice.
It essentially looks like a face hugger, but it face hugs your cargo.
There's a new engineering room on the upper deck, which is previously where a component closet was, and it retains 3 of the 4 jump seats up front in the co-pilot foyer and replaces one of those drop seats with a storage rack for handheld cargo boxes.
Nice choice.
I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I'm excited to see the feedback from players and how they end up using it in the game.
We wanted to try and come up with an arrangement of the cargo hold and the tractor beam in such a way that you could potentially swoop in and grab cargo that maybe necessarily doesn't belong to you My dream would be to just see a bunch of people stealing other people's cargo with this thing in the dead of night and just flying off into the distance without ever landing, which would be super sick.
I'm just super excited that we get to launch a more accessible version of the Prowler, which I think is a fan favorite visually, but has just never had its time in the verse. So hope to see lots of these flying around now.
Interesting. And if you can't see that, I have just put into chat the cost, because although my homepage hasn't updated, it's on the store right now. So I'm just going to drag it across, and we're going to have a look. That is, according to the ship matrix, $300. Yeah, Prowler utility, $300, 32 SU cargo hold. I'm going to move you back across in a second. It says strong defensive weaponry. I mean, sure, but let's have a look. Yeah, there you go. So this is the bit where like it gets controversial, right? Because people will be like, well, the min-maxing and the this and the that and the this and that looks cool. And I did say when we were talking about it this morning, one of the things that I was going to look for in this ship was the idea that they could do some fun things with the cargo to make the cargo very accessible, and that's what they've done. And sure, you can put an Atlas or whatever on it, but it's only 32 SU of cargo, so it's not huge amounts of cargo, but it also makes where the tractor beam is very common sense, right? So cool factor, 10 out of 10. Yeah, and do you know what? There's just something about the look of this ship that I love. And if they've made it actually more accessible in terms of flying, because none of its dropship stuff is in, and it won't be in for a while, the hover mode, the ability to be able to kind of adhere to the hulls of larger ships through the hover / magnetic, like Gravlev thing, all of that, the Tavarin armor and all that sort of stuff. With none of that in yet, this is really cool to have this, to make it something that we're going to see more of in the verse, because it is such a pretty silhouette, and it's such a pretty ship. Stunner says it would be cool to see a remake of that vid where the Drake Cutlass flies up on a hull and steals some cargo by tractoring it off. But now make some Prowlers do that. Yeah, so it just comes along and it, yoink, nicks it, closes up again and flies off. That would be cool. I do like what the wings did as well. So I'm just gonna jump out and see if we can. So what do we think? Have we got a? So there's still no update, it seems, to the thing. Yeah, it's still suffering. Av, hello buddy, Jag as well. Hi. I think it's not enough to justify that kind of price. $300 is a lot for a cargo ship, right? When you look at what you can get around that price, the Starlancer Max is cheaper than that. Check my math on that. Cheaper. Definitely cheaper, right? You can get a lot more in that thing. The Taurus for $110 less will get you a lot of. Will get you a lot of. I'm just gonna flick through. You're gonna. Yeah, there we go. Random. Go back to. I skipped it. There we go. Sorry. I'm sorry if anyone. I've just given anyone a fit doing that. But yeah. So you've got the War Bond, which is $250. I'm sorry that this is in UK prices. You got that, and there's an upgrade there as well. And then we've got the paint, the Luminary, Torchbearer, and Hamada. I don't think I've seen a Hamada yet. Let's have a look. That's quite nifty. Like that. Compatible with, and it is coming in at 4.2. Compatible with all. Nice. Torchbearer, yeah, fine. And then the Luminary paint, that's been around for a while, I think, from one of the either Alien Weeks or whatever. So, yeah. Bro, boy, anything in game that we can do for Alien Week, or is it just celebrated by spending US dollars? Mate, basically, as far as I'm aware at the moment, it's only this. However, ILW had some missions thrown in. It depends. If 4.2 is not imminently coming out, then no, I doubt we're going to see anything specific for Alien Week. because again, there's not the alien stuff to do in the game other than Wicklow, you know, and shooting some Copian in the face. There's not much to do with aliens at the minute. So maybe soon. They certainly seem to be doing that. They're moving that way. It's been a bugbear for quite a while now that they haven't, you know, managed to turn the big events that they talk about into anything more than just sales. But hopefully, yeah. So yeah, so it's not meant to rival cargo ships as tech. It's a smuggling ship. It has less of a profile on radar than a Gladius, and that's cool. I like that. That's quite a nice little a little addition. Let's go to the pledge store. You notice I've logged out for this because, you know, I'm not saying I don't trust you guys. I'm also not saying that I do. So, you know, I'm only kidding. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh, I can't spell. There we go. Yep, that. Max Crew 5, interestingly. The 2 seats and the 3 jump seats, I guess. That's an interesting crew count, right? 5 for something like that. Maybe that's aimed to be a little bit like cargo with some added shooting. Maybe picking up stuff from hot zones, that sort of thing. You know, thinking specifically like what they said we were going to be doing at distribution centers, where there was supposed to be, you know, these big heists and you were supposed to carry cargo out. This looks like it's going to be very good for that sort of stuff. But yeah. So just catching up then. It looks nice, but it's a freaking cargo ship, says Jag. Yep. Alien Week is store page only, says AV. Yeah, it is at the moment, unfortunately. A price premium because it's an alien ship. Agreed. Seems like a missed opportunity. Yeah, they all are. It's nice now to see that ILW has something. IAE hopefully will have something as well, the really big ones. And hopefully in the future, when there's actually something that they can add for the aliens, something for there to do as well. You know, even if it's just kind of like finding locations, finding artifacts that they put in for the game. Very much like they did it for ILW. They had the missions with the flight instructor. You went off and did the 8 stages or 9 stages, whatever it was, and that was in only for ILW. So yeah, hopefully we get something of an event that translates in game for the people who have everything that they want. Yeah, should have celebrated Alien Week at Wicklow's and shown off the ships there. They absolutely could have done. You're right. $10 for each SCU. Cool ship, not worth the price as Rush. Unless when crafting comes in, we start having far more value in smaller containers. Yeah. This would have made an excellent bounty hunter ship, and they made a cargo ship. Bearing in mind that it wouldn't have come out as a bounty hunter ship right now, right? Because that gameplay, in terms of the storage, any ship can be a bounty hunter ship when you don't have to worry about bounty hunter pods. The one that makes sense for me with the Prowler more than any other variant is an electronic warfare variant. Because of its stealth, because of its ability to get close to capital ships, that for me makes massive sense on the warfare front. But we have no thing. So just because we've got this, bear in mind, doesn't mean we won't get other variants of it. I've said to you guys before, I'm not going to stretch. Unless I end up with the credit anyway and nothing else to do with it, I'm not going to stretch to buying the Prowler gunship, dropship. This thing, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. So yeah, hey Rusty Pigeon, good to see you, my friend. Or a very heavy fighter, absolutely. Their choices of what variants are become is questionable, or at least a gunship, if not a bounty hunter. Yeah, we've got so many. I mean, we've got lots of cargo ships as well, right? But we've got so many fighters and all that sort of stuff right at the moment. Some other things to do with it would have been fun, but gameplay wise, we're just not there yet, right? So we'll see what becomes of this ship later on down the line. Let's have a look at the tech specs. What do we got? She is good looking, and I do like the fact that those blades kind of fold up into the into the wings. That's kind of cool. Because the whole idea of them when you land with the dropship is they fan up, right? Like like from the thing, so that when people jump out behind them, they have cover and they can fire between the blades. Obviously, with the cargo ship, you don't need that, and actually, those blades are going to get in the way of the tractor beam and everything else. So the fact that they go up, it's a really nice thought process. I'm quite pleased. 208 meters per second. That's not a slouch. Certainly. So I've opened the windows, and of course, the very first thing that happens is I get bugs. Stop it. Yeah. It doesn't have the sizes. Great. Helpful. 4 shields. Don't know what size they'll be. Yeah, great. Fantastic. No missiles, though. Looks like a frying prawn. It does. It looks very much like... I mean, it was absolutely supposed to be a copy of the dropship from Final Fantasy, Spirits Within. The animated movie that they did. So, yeah. That's where they were going with that. It still doesn't seem to be. Oh, no, here we go. We're up. They finally changed the homepage over, so here we go. Okay. No concept ship. Okay, bad call. Asperia Prowler's in there. Let's have a look at the week itself. Extraterrestrial fare and frivolity. So we got paints. Oh no, there is something in game. Stanton's newest tastemaker, Wicklow, challenged you to whip up your most delectable concoction using as many of the Banu's 9 tastes as possible. Oh no, this isn't in the game. This is in real life, isn't it? Ah, they debated me with the Wicklow bit. Monsters. Let's have a look. What's the contest details say? Oh, straight to Spectrum. Of course it is. The place that I absolutely hate. Yeah. Let's get rid of some of this nonsense. What's that one? No, that's fine. Okay, so. Okie dokie. Prowler utility, the alien. Right, so the bar citizen that is happening tomorrow. Saturday, sorry, it's Thursday, isn't it? This is the item that you're going to get for turning up. A blank screen. But yes, it's that thing. So, great. Yeah, so the Ocellus paint is what I really kind of like for the Prowler. I think the Ocellus paint looks gorgeous. Which is this thing here. Have they got it? Come on, there we go. That again. How have you broken this? But yes, the Ocellus paint looks very good on that. Harmony paints, Wanderer paints again for everything, and then, unsurprisingly, the Talon armor that came with the Talon, the AV's armor that came with the Talon a while back. Yeah, okay. So nothing massively surprising within Alien Week, and you know, no kind of concepts or anything of that ilk. And let's see what else they've got to say about the Asperia. Hybrid excellence. God damn, she is a good-looking ship. Advanced hauling. I mean, it's not advanced though, is it? It does what everything else does. The Taurus does this, for God's sake. In terms of tractor beaming stuff around. Interior-wise, yeah, good-looking ship, but not much there in terms of Silverado, Hamada, Torchbearer. I've just realised I've probably made a little bit of a mistake because I'm not logged in. I can't see the concierge stuff, which I'm assuming is that Silverado. Someone with concierge, check that that's the case. Yeah. That. It's going to want me to log in, isn't it? Oh no, here we go. All ships. The downside is the closest thing that I've actually got to this is the Apollo, which I don't want to change yet, given the imminent kind of release of the Apollo. Yeah. And of course, according to the war bond, it's the same price as the Apollo anyway. So, whack whack ooms. Silverado's concierge. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. Not a bad looking ship at all. You know, the reason they've obviously gone for the what was previously almost exclusively a combat chassis is the fact that it's, you know, it's meant to be a smuggling ship. That seems to explain the increase in crew from 2 to 5 for this thing, with 3 drop seats back in the kind of lobby, if you will. It's an interesting choice. They seem to have played around with the lighting a little, as they said, so it looks a little bit more menacing. The wings folding up is cool. The only question is are you willing to pay the rule of cool tax and the alien tax for something that carries 32 of SU cargo up to $300? What do you guys reckon? No BMM news, so it's still on the shelf. Yeah, exactly that. I expect to see a medium banner ship, then a large one before the BMM to build up assets. Potentially. Unfortunate, says Breadboy. Yeah, it is, mate. That's what it is. Yeah, more Banu stuff for sure will come out before, and that's bad because I'll most likely buy it. Do we need to stage an intervention? Is that what's going on? You think the Prowler utility is a test to see how much they can sell on pure looks alone? I mean, if what people that have apparently this thing's radar cross section is less than a Gladius. If that's the case, given what we've had with running stuff to Wicklow, blockade runner, moving stuff around with the fight to Pyro, people whinging about being intercepted and all that nonsense, this is actually looking quite a strong contender now in that field. Right? Add to that things like you've got 5 crew on it with the Hathor events and the Stormbreaker stuff about to be released. A ship that carries 5 with a radar cross section less than Gladius. That's quite a bold move, actually. It's an interesting choice alone, even if all you're putting in your cargo is your armor and your everything else to be ready to go. So that's quite an interesting one. Definitely an earning game ship, says Mark Excellent. Yeah, and do you know what? The Prowler dropship is that for me as well. I don't know. I mean, basically, at the moment, we know that I've got a CCU chain that goes nowhere, right? The whole idea was it was supposed to go up to the Reclaimer. There are some gaps in that chain, so it's not complete. But that's where it was aimed for. It's now not aimed for anything because I've got a Reclaimer. So, don't know. This would have killed on supply or die, says Charlie. Yeah, exactly. Good to see you, bud. Hey, Jackal. Good to see you, my friend. So, yeah, lovely ship, but price is still crazy. And why no beds? This is a first for a utility ship like this. Yeah, so this is going to be the interesting one, right? This is obviously kind of like high-speed, low-drag kind of cargo smuggling runs where the reason you're using this isn't range, it's the stealth, it's the avoiding conflict and avoiding getting stopped. That's going to be the trick. The price, yeah, it's still incredibly high for what it is, but I think we do need to give CIG props for the fact that it is nowhere near the 440 for the other Prowler, right? I wouldn't have gone as low as this in my prediction. I would have guessed around 350, 375. So it's still an incredible amount of money for a ship, a ship for a computer game, right? Don't get me wrong. It's still a ridiculous amount of money, and probably not something or certainly not something I'm going to buy outright. But if I can finagle one of my chains, then maybe 32 SCU. Yeah, exactly that. What we'll do is while we're talking, just to give your eyes a break like from staring at a page, which probably, to be fair, I probably haven't zoomed in enough to let you guys kind of, see what to read any of it. What I'll do is I'll put the behind the ships back in. About to come now. Here we go. And I'll just put it on mute. So you can, if you haven't been in, if you haven't seen it yet, you can at least see it playing in the background. And I'll transition across now. But yeah. So the guns underneath have been downgunned by one size. The turret stays the same. Much smaller radar cross section. Initial reports from people in chat have been that it's a smaller cross section than the Gladius. The cargo drops out of the center bit. The wings fold up rather than splay like the dropship because they'll just get in the way. Tractor beam underneath the cargo ship. The cargo doors open out like a clamshell, so that's kind of cool. It's an impressive looking bit of kit, actually. I didn't think I was going to like this. I thought it was going to be okay. It's a Prowler, but the other editions I'm not sure of. I'm actually not sure. I'm actually quite impressed. And yes, it's an upside down cargo grid, but they lower and attach and get brought up again, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. So those are the wings normally, and if you put it into hover mode, they actually splay out. This is what they do now with this. They fold up to get out of the way to give the tractor beam more coverage to move cargo around. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so nice ship for hulching vultures with their cargo. Absolutely. Earning game will test it out before you consider buying it with your own money. Front radar cross section is twice a Gladius, but top cross section is the same, and heat electromag is far lower than the Prowler. Interesting. Or far lower for the Prowler. I do apologise. So yeah, it's an interesting concept as a smuggling ship, because if it is a much smaller cross section, then that's quite exciting. Or if it's a very small cross section for its size, is what I'm trying to say. Right? That's cool. And this is just the greatest shot. This is so cool. That's great. That is so good. And I really hope the doors open like that, like Knuckles, like they said, like a face hugger, where the doors don't open uniformly like that. They actually open in sequence, because that's kind of cool. Earning game, but I'm surprised by how much I like it at first glance. Says Northern Surge, welcome in, my friend. Yeah, it's an impressive looking bit of kit. I actually really like that. I think that's really clever. And then inside, it's actually got a spot here. So there's the jump seats like these that are in the kind of lobby you can see up front. There's actually a slot, this one, for your small delivery boxes. Looks like 3 vertically. That's kind of, yeah. God damn it, CIG, I don't need another ship. I really don't need another ship. I can't help it. I like it. This is why, and this is what I say about ships all the time, right? Is you can do the calculations with SCU and how much money per SCU and like how much money it is, and oh my god, it still doesn't have a bed and all that stuff. And I get it on a logical level. I get it, but games aren't primarily driven by logic, right? They're driven by feeling and engagement and all that sort of stuff. And I just like it. God damn. Yeah. Well, shit. Looks like I'm like it, but why no beds, please? And it's so expensive for such a niche role. Yeah, hiya. I am Sace. Good to see you. It's gonna be one of those, for smugglers, this is gonna be niche again. But it is nice to be there. Interesting how cargo here works like the raft, but the next new big cargo ship will have the same functionality. Potentially. I think this when you look at how quickly this loads 32 SCU of cargo, I think even in small containers, compared to other ships, just ramming a 30 USC2 container in there is not going to be much quicker than loading that thing. I think it's going to be very, very quick to load. So yeah. No FOMO here, says John. PQ Knuckles, at least a buying game. Every time he hits smash the like button, a Badgers gets his wings. Thanks, Blaze. Appreciate that. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. So the rest of it, we didn't get the concept, which is interesting because it means neither ILW nor Alien Week did we get a concept this year so far. So that is an interesting point. Does this mean that they're kind of moving away from concepts? Which in itself would be an interesting step, right? Maybe they're listening to the complaints about the backlog. Why are you bringing out more concepts when you've got a backlog to do? Why are you working on other ships when you've got a backlog to do? Maybe not no more ships tech. I don't think we're going to go that far. Good comparison would be the current raft. Yep. Or something big coming. Yeah, I mean the raft's kind of capacity makes it a different one there. I did my part to support the devs, says Del Kenobi. Oh, you didn't. Oh, Del. I'm off the top of my head, I'm trying to find a way of expanding Del like my mum does when I'm in trouble. It goes from Dave to David. And it's like, Delacroix Kenobi, how dare you? There you go. Edward Delacroix. I think they're moving away from concepts, as CMcD. But I like them for the discount you can get them for. Nice. Concepts keep the lights on. Absolutely. Taking some ships back, maybe. Yeah. Oh, God. Jodamo, you're a monster. Yeah. It's a good-looking ship. It's a good-looking ship. I'm pleased. I had reservations. The fact that it's a smuggler, the fact it's got much smaller radar cross section and all that sort of stuff, given what we're experiencing with Hathor, Stormbreaker, with Fight for Pyro, Blockade Runner, all that sort of stuff, that's quite a nice little. I only supported them with credits as tech. Yeah, absolutely. This is a fascinating documentary. Watching Badgers and Willpower crumble before our very eyes. Do you know what? I'm going to have to pull up the fleet and see what I can do. I'm going to have to pull up the fleet and see what I can do. God damn. God damn. But yeah. Not getting it, already have the Paladin at the same price point. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I don't think they're comparable at all. You know, carrying guns and being designed for combat are not the same thing, as we found. Warden to Warbond, says Space. Nice. Good call, sir. Good call. Yeah, so if nothing else is an LTI token, it is a very expensive LTI token there, Del. A very expensive LTI token. But yeah. Interesting choice. This kicks off Alien Week, and to be honest, this also kind of ends it, right? Because unless you are interested in cooking something for Wicklow, that's kind of it, I think. But if you haven't already had a chance to see, I'll just put the video on again because it's fun to have on in the background. If you haven't seen the video already, or the Star Citizen Live, which is all about flight and the future of that sort of stuff, flight changes, then that's out as well. I haven't had the chance myself. I was working literally up until about 6 minutes before I put this on. I used my lunch break to put the thumbnail and schedule it, and then came straight here from working downstairs in the office. So, yeah. We can move to a discrete delivery org. Embarrassing package you need delivered in game. Contact DGP. No, but yes. Just remember, Badgers, you can get 4 315Ps for the price of the new Prowler. Yes, but I can't fly all of them at once, so that's just silly, sir. Silly, not doing that. But yeah, a very cool looking design. I'm impressed. Yeah. it's. I would say the Prowler dropship still pips it for me, right? It's not quite the case. It's just for the moment. The utility is incredible. The utility looks incredible, and I'm sure it's going to make a very good smuggling ship when they figure out all the scanning and the cross-section stuff. Obviously, the dropship doesn't have a lot of use now, which is a shame. Because instead of this shuttle to Stormbreaker, this whole fighting your way inside from outside, that was tailor-made for the Prowler's wings, right? So the Prowler comes in, deploys VTOL mode, the wings splay, people jump out of the air shield on that side, and use the cover of the wings to get down and, find their footing before getting absolutely hammered by everyone that's waiting for them to drop. That event seems tailor-made for a Prowler. And they didn't do it. And I get why they didn't do it, because if you make one ship fly down there, most of them have to be able to fly down, right? And that's not the point. They don't want people flying through Stormbreaker with an A2 killing everyone in the event. Or the site. It's not an event. The site. So I get that. But yes. Oh god. I fell for the hype so much I brought back my original Prowler. Tech. Bad tech. Discrete package will come labeled as not a Valakar enlargement device. Oh, good lord. Yeah, that's definitely the end of that stream, isn't it? That's where we draw stumps now, because we're getting a little bit strange. Are we talking about the Valakar plushie? Because that was a very odd choice by CIG. That was just like, what did you think we were going to do with that? The fact that if you have one of the beds, like the Citizen Con bed, if you put the Valakar plushie on the bed, it sticks up. Mouth up. It's like, what are you trying to say, CIG? You absolute monsters. I wonder if you can put a Moab on the cargo grid and tractor it off. I mean, yeah. I still don't think... it doesn't activate, right? If you just drop it, you've actually got to properly drop it. You can't just... you can't... Can you pick it up in your hangar and then just drop it onto the floor and then have it explode? I don't think it does that, does it? You've got to have something set it off. Or it's got to be released properly from the bomb rack. I've been considering adding a Defender to my fleet, got a CCU chain to it for $100, but hesitating since my BMM already comes with a Defender as an AC loaner. Don't know. I mean, there will still be loaners for sure, right? How many of them is the question? Because they've said, at the moment, as the plan stands, things like the Endeavour will be post 1.0 launch. It would be a very brave / foolish decision on CIG's part to remove loaners. I think the idea is that the list of ships that have a loaner for them will get much smaller. No, I didn't want to... Now you get to find out whatever trash they're hawking at us in the UK through the thingy. Let's just go and do... I don't know. Let's go again. Because it's cool, right? But yeah. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna end them. I think the intention is they are going to massively reduce the number of ships that have a loaner, with the intention of obviously at some point not being in that situation anymore, unless they continue to sell concepts, in which case you'll get something, right? PvE piracy raiding the NPCs. You slap them with a stealth prowler and make off with their booty. Nice. If you can place it on a ship, put a size 1 missile next to it and snipe the missile. Just, what is wrong with you people? More to the point, what do you guys think you're doing when you're trying all this stuff? Like, what are you playing at, you monsters? Make the loaners unupgradable. No swapping weapons or components. Yep, that works too. The merchantman looks sick, like it looks like it is in concept. Yeah, I think there's a couple bits. I think it was a little bit more pointy, and the lower kind of bit was. I think they kind of put that in and went, that looks cool, and then couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it until a fair way down the line. Don't look at the BMM concept, it's a lie. I went in game with Jamlack. Oh god, well that explains that then. But yes, not a bad concept. It is going to be niche, just like most of the alien ships are going to be niche, because they are, you pay the tax for it. even though it's $140 cheaper than the Prowler, it still doesn't make it cheap. It's just cheaper than the other Prowler. Not for me, and the CCUs are meh. Were there CCUs in there as well? Were there Warbond CCUs mixed in with that? I didn't see them if there were. I'll go and have a look now, but I didn't see any. Let's have a look. Excuse me. Maybe I didn't scroll down far enough. Did I just not? Oh, yeah, I didn't scroll down far enough. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so let's jump back across. We do have a little bit more to talk about. So the Banu Defender here is as a Warbond. And the alien ships look great. They look very, very good. But the Raven, a lot of people are excited for that one as well. But obviously, again, this is going to be a little way away because the SCU boxes are those triangular ones. So it's going to be a while before that comes in. Sulan, Talon Shrike. Yeah, nice. So, Banu Defender then is what? 200 off of the Warbond. That might be a nice jump from one of my Taurus CCUs, actually. Stop it. Stop it. And then... Of course, I hit back, didn't I? Because I'm an idiot. The Banu Merchant one, I'm guessing, what, 600 from 650? Yeah. Still not cheap. Still really not cheap. So yeah. I'm really not sold on its inverted cargo plate. Can't use it for vehicles effectively. I mean, yeah, I think that's intentional. I think they obviously did that because it's not supposed to be that sort of dropship. Especially not with the ICTY turning up. It's not supposed to be able to drop like ICTYs in combat. That's obviously not what they want to do with it. So yeah, I think that's the intent. Yeah. That BMM one is a killer, nothing but concepts underneath it. Yeah. It's in a rough place at the moment. I don't know what the... Let's have a look. Good Lord, CIG. Look at all the ships. Yeah. Yeah, your closest is what the whole... no, whole D? No, it's the whole D's not out either, is it? Oof. Yeah, so your closest is the M2. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, that's a little bit rough. Banu Defenders are part of my best CCU chains. I go from a Super Hornet to an MSR and $10. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, M2's the closest. M2's the closest. That's not a comfortable jump. That really isn't a comfortable jump. The next one down obviously being the Hull C. Yeah, that really isn't. That's a very painful jump. Whole lot of money to get up to the BMM. Yeah, exactly. BMM's the other ship that I kind of like, but for the same reasons, no, you're all right. That might be one of my long-term goals, like earn up with a Banu rep, whatever you need to then get to the Banu Merchantman. We'll see. Emperor Palpatine would say, do it, says Pilgrim. Yeah, it would, but I'm not going to, because I don't embrace the dark side. But yeah. Hi Ninja as well, if I haven't said hello already. I thought I had, but if I haven't I been rude? Jamlek, hey buddy, good to see you. I need a Valakar plushie bit in the design of the June popcorn bucket if you catch my... No, I don't. I have no idea what you mean. Get out. Yeah. So, BMM, good value, but we'll be waiting for a very long time. Yeah, we will be. It's gonna be a little while. It's gonna be a little while. Based, says Bread Boy. I mean, yeah, whatever. But yes. So yeah, again, some good looking paints and stuff. You know, again, I really like the Ocellus paints. I think they're quite pretty. But yeah, we'll see. I'll give it till after dinner when Badgers caves in. I mean, right. All right. Let's start, shall we? Let's start. I'm gonna go and find my I'm gonna go find my Fleet JPEG thing. There we go. Let's find my and see if there's an easy way to get up there. Seeing as you guys want to do this, let's have a look and see. It's definitely you guys. It's not me. It's you guys. You're weird. Let's have a look. So load file. Let's. Where are we? Load that one up. Okay. So, yeah, guys, this isn't going to be an easy fix. This really isn't going to be an easy fix, I'm afraid. I'll take you across and I'll show you why for, but this isn't going to be an easy fix. This is all on you, mate. No, absolutely not. If they kept the size 5 gums, I'd be 100% sold, says Luke. Yeah, it's an interesting going down in size. They're not the most maneuverable things in the world, so yeah. Glaive is unavailable. Yeah, I think the Glaive has been for a while. All right, check my math on that. Hey, Mr. G, good to see you. Listic, hey, buddy. Right. Let's go across and see what you guys think. This is probably going to need some explaining, right? Okay, so let's go over here. This bit makes sense first, right? These are the ships that I have at the moment. Okay, that center row are ones that I'm quite pleased with at the moment. Okay, the Intrepid down here is a game package by itself, and I actually quite like it. The Sulen, the Atlas, the MPUV Tractor, and the Pulse are we'll see. Not sure what I want to do with them. And the ones at the top I've got to be careful with because the Vulture and the Ursa Medevac are built off referral tokens. So I got a referral Steve when they did one of the friendship events. That's now the Medevac. And my Gladius I took up to the Vulture because I did that before I knew what was going on with CCUs and didn't realise that I couldn't melt it. So the Vulture, the intention for that, unless I can find something that I absolutely want to keep, my intention is that the Vulture is going to be my starter industry ship, right? So when I need to just go out, not do combat and earn some credits, that's my ship. Okay. Yes, I've got a Pisces and a Medic there. Okay, and I know that they're mixed up at the moment, but I am enjoying using both of them. So, there, right? The Medic helps when we're going to ships like the Carrack and stuff that I can't stuff the Medic into. Yep. The Medic's got the better med bed. So that's where we are at the moment. Okay. Outside of that, here are my CCUs. Okay, so these are basically what I'm saying here is I've got a Freelancer to Cutty Red to Vulture to Taurus to Vulcan. I've also got a C1 to Cutty Red to Vulture to Taurus to Vulcan to Perseus to to Scorpius, all the way down to the Apollo Medevac because I like the Vulcan and I like the Medevac. So those are the ships. Those. Yeah. I've also got 2 speculative Cuddy Reds to Hull Bs because I think the Hull Bs are going to rocket in price. Yeah. As part of one of the chains before, I've got a Gemini to Valkyrie. I've got a Valkyrie to Galaxy if I want it. I've got a Prowler to 600i for I don't know what reason. I've got these as speculative. Yep, so all of the Gemini, 2 to Endeavours, 1 to the Crucible. And then I have a Carrack to Perseus to Polaris. Again, speculative. Right? The more I've flown the Polaris, the more I've decided I probably don't want it. I like it, but not. Am I on CCU game? No. Nope. No, my CCU game person is Can. He does all this for me. I have a staff that do these things. Good God, man, I don't do this sort of stuff myself. I have people to do that, don't you know? I'm kidding, by the way. I know. So yeah. So that's where we are at the minute. Yeah, you're not wrong. So this is where we are at the moment. So the idea here was that I had stepping off points, right? And the idea here was that I was going to be able to do that. Okay, so let's zoom in on this chain. Okay, the idea was this was the chain that was going to go to Medevac, and then it was going to continue on to the Gemini, to the Valkyrie, up to the Reclaimer. But now that I have one, I don't need it. So the idea here is we were able to create two chains. So if I decide I don't like the Vulcan when that comes in, the Vulcan chain can go somewhere. If I do like it, I can still go to the Medevac. Yeah, as long as I get to the Freelancer first. Yeah, and that's easy because I've got a bunch of credits sat down here. Well, the problem here is that, so I've heard a couple of people say that you don't need the Vulture when you've got the Reclaimer and all that sort of stuff. The problem here is that there's a fallacy that's going around at the moment with ships, and it's buy big and earn down. In a vacuum, that makes sense. In big ships, you are going to be able to earn enough money to buy the smaller ships. Of course, that makes sense. However, when you take everything together, right? If you only want to play for a couple of hours, it's going to be really hard with the Reclaimer to be earning the money back that you're doing with that ship, right? Once they introduce all the maintenance costs and everything else that's going to go with it, big ships are going to cost more to offset the whole inflation thing, right? So we're going to have to be a little bit careful there, right? And I don't think it works for all of them. Like, for example, if you take an Orion out, I think you're going to have to mine for a long old time to fill it up, to make it work, to at least to the point where it's been worthwhile taking it out. Vulture, 20 minutes, one run, you can make it worthwhile. So, that, right? And this is the thing, is if I need to go out and just earn 250,000 credits, I can do a couple runs in the Vulture, done. Right? In the Reclaimer, with all the time that takes, the fact that I've got to get out of the captain's chair, which means, or the pilot's chair, which means I've now got no awareness of what's going on around me. If I've not got 4 other people to be doing the salvage with, running that ship becomes a liability. So that's why I'm going that way. So I want small ship that can help earn me money. So you can see here that the spirit that I have down here is where this chain is. So I've got the CCU from that spirit up to the Cutty Red, and that takes me all the way up to the Medevac. The annoying thing here is that the Medevac is coming out before the Vulcan. Because if the Vulcan was the one that was out first, I could figure out whether or not I liked it by going up to it, and then go up to the Medevac. The problem I have at the moment is that if I go up that way, I've got to go all the way past the Vulcan, right? Which means I can't go back down to it, because there's lots of war bonds in there. And the problem there is that if I then decide that I do want the Vulcan after the Medevac, I've got to melt it somewhere else. So, yeah, that's why I've got to be careful with the stepping off points. Is that, you know, the thing here that I need to bear in mind is that I've got the Pisces, I've got the Terrapin Medic, and I've got the Medevac there. It's 3 medical ships plus a NASA, although I think the NASA's a good buy, right? I'm going to leave the NASA where it is. Medical ground vehicle, I'm happy to keep that. Yeah. So I'm going to have to do something there with the Terrapin Medic or the Pisces or the Medevac. It might be that I decide I don't like medical gameplay enough to keep the Medevac, in which case the Medevac could go to you know, Prowler utility. It's interesting. Yeah, so in terms of the Pisces, here's my thinking, and I've got no evidence to back this up other than good gameplay logic, right? Smaller things like the shuttles, like the MPUVs, like the Pisces, shuttles, I think, will not incur anywhere near as much repair and maintenance going into and out of atmosphere. That's the whole point of a shuttle, right? Something like the Carrack entering and exiting atmosphere all the time would incur more because it's a bigger ship, right? There's more structural stress and all that sort of stuff. And if bigger ships have more money, you need more ways to kind of tax the money off them. Otherwise, small ships can't keep up with big ships, right? And they've said categorically they don't want that to happen. So those kind of maintenance costs and overheads for the big ships will be through the maintenance. And I think one of the ways that you could do that would make sense in the lore and everything else is to increase the wear and tear going into and out of atmosphere. So something like the Idris, for example, should take a massive chunk of maintenance payments required if it's going into atmosphere. Same like the Kraken, because that's not what it's there for. So yeah, would you really need the meta pin if you have the medevac and CAR? Well, this is the interesting thing. Is at the moment this is where it stands. I don't have a problem with maybe looking at some of this. The one thing I am tempted to do here is, since the module changes for the Retaliator, none of those modules really excite me. So it might be that I look at the Retaliator and maybe some credit over here to pump that up to a Prowler utility. I don't know. I'm going to have a look. I shall have a look-see. And then maybe just top off the end of it with a warbond. But yeah. Yeah, I use the medical terrapin a lot when I'm heading down to Hathor. I use the Pisces a lot when we're flying to things like the Idris and the Polaris, because if you've got a couple of smaller ships, you can fit both in. You can fit more in with a Pisces versus a terrapin into an Idris. So it really is horses for courses. I think I'm going to wait to see what the medevac looks like when we get there. And if I like it, we'll go there. If not, we won't. But yeah, at the moment, there's no easy fix here jumping off the page to say, this is how you get there. I could straight up replace one of my ships, potentially. I could replace the Retaliator. Because that's the one at the moment that doesn't feel like it fits. I've got lots of stuff where one of them will fit, and I've got lots of contenders like the medical ships, but I don't know. Because I quite like, when I'm playing armor, to play combat, search and rescue, right? At the moment, I'm not going to want to play that in Star Citizen because they haven't quite figured out how to do that without it becoming a trap set by murder hobos for people who are trying to help. We'll see. We shall see. I'm certainly not looking for game players involved as an Endeavour Hope, the Endeavour Hospital module. That's too much. It might be the Terrapin Medic is the seesaw thing that I need, that it actually flies in and, lands, grabs people out, with a couple of medics on board. Don't know. We'll see. Medevac just seems like a better medipin unless there's Atmo weather issues. Possibly. Yeah. The CAR won't likely be heal much. I'd stick to the medevac. Yeah, I'm as far as I'm concerned, they've got some stuff to figure out with medical gameplay. And I think ships that the tier 3 med beds will able to do other things than just heal tier 3. I think, for example, they'll be able to help you stabilize tier 2 and tier 1 and give them longer, potentially, to help them out, or some sort of more permanent fix than constantly dosing them up with drugs or med pens. I don't know. But at the moment, the idea of using the CAR as an ambulance, there's no point. Same with the Cuddy Red. Because if you can't heal them, it doesn't matter what ship you put them in. Being in a tier 3 medbed doesn't add anything while you're getting them to a higher tier medbed. So it seems like something they might want to change. Completely agree, Badges displays. A Vulture is better for solo play, hands down, especially as the complexity of engineering comes on board. Yeah. So that's why I want that. I'm actually really beginning to enjoy the Spirit. I'm quite liking that as a daily driver. The Connie Taurus is about as high as I want to go with cargo, because obviously the Vulture kicks everything out in one SCU boxes. Loading and unloading a Connie Taurus full of one SCU boxes is about as far as I can go before I lose my mind. And once they give us the ability to put them into bigger boxes, to combine them and go, okay, I want these 16 SCU in a 60 XCU box. Oh my god, that's going to be so much better. The Atlas is so cheap it can be an earning game, although the fact that it's there, I like that. That's fine. But like I say, the Sulin I quite enjoyed. I don't know. I never got on with flying it. I love the look of the ship. I love the interior, all that sort of stuff. It was purely the flying that I wasn't quite sure of. I quite like having a smooth look at coming into land and making it look like you know what you're doing. I've never managed that with the way the Sulen points up. There's always a lot of faffing and you just look like an idiot. So yeah. I like the Spirit. It's the ship on the second account. Nice. Are you worried the new Prowler brochure doesn't mention Tavaran shields or Gravlev? No, I mean, I think with a lot of ships, if you are buying them, and I know I don't abide by this rule everywhere because the Perseus is sat here, right? But if you're buying them on the promise of stuff that isn't in the game yet, we know how guns work in the game, right? If you're buying them on the promise of stuff that isn't in yet, and that's the difference between you buying it and you not buying it, I would caution you not to buy it. Genuinely. You know, be really careful. Don't buy that ship. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just swirling my Coke around for absolutely no reason. And spilling it. Good. It's going to be one of those days, I think. It's going to be one of those days. The Retaliator needs as much crew as your big gunship to be useful. Yeah, it does. And that's why I'm thinking that maybe that needs to be changed. I own Vulture and Reclaimer and hardly ever bother with the Reclaimer on my own. Absolutely. I have every medical ship besides the Cutty Red. Redundancy is key and use cases vary. Absolutely. Land Sulem perfectly, live immortal, says Charlie. Yeah, that. Exactly that. If I could only have one med ship, it's either the Cutty Red because it's best at defending itself or an Apollo. Spilling your Coke, is that why you're here, Tech? Is that the whole reason you're here? Is you're waiting for me to buy the Prowler utility? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. At least it's not going to happen on stream. So there. Because it means I've got to open up my account and stuff. And it means I've got to sign in. And I know you can't see it with it like this, but I'm still not going to do that with you lot watching. You forget. I've met some of you. I know what you lot are like. So no, absolutely not. But yes. So yeah, so certainly some kind of interesting things to think about as far as the I'm just going to pop this on in the background. Just because I really do want to turn that fan on now, because it is getting red as in here. Even with the window open, the sun sets there, and that's where the windows are. I got two windows in this room for some reason. Yeah, it's warm in here, so sorry, you're just going to have to deal with the fact. I'll try and turn the gain down on the mic slightly, and then shout at you. But hopefully it's not that off-putting with the music in the background. I will just very quickly check my NVIDIA broadcast settings and make sure I got noise removal in there somewhere. Hopefully that's fixed it. Yeah, I think that's fixed it. Good stuff. At least 3 people present would log into your account just to rename it to something suggestive. Right, and this is why I won't tell you guys the names that I have planned for some of my ships. Because, no. Yeah, it's a pre-order for the Prowler because it's coming with 4.2. And 4.2 isn't here yet. I can keep my Hully or get 2 Prowler utility. I think we'll keep the Hully. Stimpack, I completely support your decision, but personally, for me, the idea of loading and unloading a Holly makes me want to slam my fingers in a door. So yeah, I can't. Like that, I can't imagine anything worse than loading a Holly. I just, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm I'm having an aneurysm just thinking about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. So yeah, that's that. That's where we are. That's what's going on in the game at the moment. Like I said, hopefully we'll get the screams. You're not kidding. I'm screaming internally, even if you can't see it. Like I said, Sunday, stream will not be happening. I'll be in Cardiff, going to see Jordan Peterson talk. So I'll be streaming as normal Sunday next week. I will try and get, I've got a couple of videos on the go at the moment. I will try and get one out for Friday, tomorrow evening, and one out for Sunday. And then once that's done, business will return as normal next week. When we get into 4.0 and stuff. So yeah, that's the plan, Stan. That's where we're going with all of this. Hopefully, that's kind of helped. Thank you very much for coming and joining and you know, making me giggle and being evil, trying to get me to buy the Prowler utility. You're all evil human beings, but I appreciate the effort. Stream is already an hour and 23. Yeah, it's been a while, right? It has been a while. So yeah, thank you ever so much. Oh, every single time, it doesn't matter what I do, I screw this bit up. You'd think, after all this time, I would be better at this, right? What I meant to do, ladies and gents, was this. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, chap. Yeah, good thanks. Yeah, just on holiday for a week next week, so I'm just sorting a few things out. So yeah, so I've got 2 of those. Hmm. Uh, yeah, that just call it that. Ah, okay. This- Okay, now this is the Guardian Queen, which is that was just a step 2, the other one, but you can have it because I've got 2 anyway. I've got that and the other one. Yeah, it's fine. No, it's fine. That's fine. I've got the MX anyway, so you know it's I was going to sort something out, so that's fine. Yeah, perfect. No, that's fine. Yeah, because it was only going to be 13 quid for the war bond, but it's a good ship anyway, so you know it's might as well. Because I've got the MX and the other thing, and I thought, you know, why not? No, it's cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's fine. If you have a look at those sticks as well, because they're not being used. So, see what you think. That's not bad. No, it's a good group, you know, and yeah. So I mean, it's nice to be able to get you that as well, especially. But just say I've got a couple of middle ones that you know I'm not going to use the Kui and the other one, so that's fine. So, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's no problem. So if you have a look at that other stuff, and I will talk to you about it and come back. That should be about a weekish, week and a half. So, but yeah, so that's perfect timing because as I say, I was just looking at all the other stuff, and I thought, well, you know, that's don't need that one, don't need that, because you end up with quite a few if you're not careful. Good stuff. Cool. As long as we can all ride in it. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to next week. So it's nice to get away. It's been in Greece, so never been. So I mean, I hope you enjoyed the food. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was my son's are in Cardiff. That's where he's done his degree. So I would have, if we weren't in Greece, I would have gone to that. You know, definitely. You'll have to take notes. Yeah. I don't know. Nice, nice. Nice. Nice though, isn't it? It's nice to have things on, you know. Yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah, maybe do it. No problem. You deserve it. Catch you, mate. See ya. Cheers. Bye. Bye.
And can you? I said good, and how are you? Well, if you're new to Wales, you fucker coming down by me. Some leaking potato.